Hello, welcome to this edition of Family Friday, Swiss Suffolk Public Library. I'm Miss Deborah, and today, you can tell from how I'm dressed, we're going back in time today. We're gonna go on scene with Virginia Beach History Museum, and we want to thank them for letting us use this video. And we're going to watch together, and we're gonna learn a little bit about how children used to play with toys and games.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a great couple of days. What we're going to talk about now is our toys and games. I know, sounds pretty fun. So let's go ahead and start off with some things here that we might recognize, that we might know. Let's see. Does anyone know who this lovely lady is? That's right. This is our nice Barbie doll. And as you can see, she's made out of a material that we have today, and it's called plastic. But a long, long time ago, they may not have had plastic. They may have had something that looks like this. And like I said, we're on a farm, so if we remember back, I even mentioned in our first video something that we could have made toys out of. Can anyone guess what this is? If you guessed corn, you're right. When we shuck corn today, it looks green because it's coming right off of a corn cob. But if you dry it, it turns this yellow color, and then you can make it into things like corn husk dolls. And this was a way that boys and girls back then would be able to go ahead and make some dolls for themselves. As you can see, some can be a little bit more intricate than others. This is my Jill, and this is my Jack, because he actually has 2 legs. So he's wearing pants, and as we know, ladies, hence my dress, were not able to wear pants. So this is my lady, and this is my gentleman here. But there's another game here that we might recognize, and it is baseball. But back then, they didn't have something as cool as baseball. Instead, they had this guy here. Does anyone know what its name is? No? Okay, that's okay. It's a little bit hard to know the name of this one. This is Trackball. And it's a little bit more complicated than baseball. And we'll see if I can hit the ball. But wearing a dress makes it quite difficult for me to step on this lever here and hit the ball. So let's go ahead and see. I did it! And this was a game that actually only boys could play. And that's because, as you can see, when I'm wearing a dress, I have to hold it up. So it makes it harder for me to hit the ball with the paddle. But this is something that young boys would be able to play every day. But there are games that were just reserved for girls. And one of them was called Graces. You'd have a lovely hoop, so you'd only need one. And then you need 4 sticks, so 2 pairs of 2. And each woman, each girl would have a pair of sticks. And the point of the game is to have the hoop here go over your sticks, and then you want to send it to your next partner. And it was supposed to teach you about grace and being a graceful woman, but it's a game that you don't have to move too much in your dresses. And wearing these dresses all year long, it helps a little bit because you can get quite hot if you're outside. So let's see if I can send it on over to you. Almost. But there were a couple games that both boys and girls could play together. And I have 2 of those games here today, right here. But I'll go ahead and I'll just talk about this ball and cup first. So a lot of people used to think that this is sort of like our original fidget spinner. We don't have super cool ones back then, but today we have ones where we can mess around with our hands. But back then, all you'd have to do is try to get this ball into the cup. and you could sit here for hours and hours and do it. So parents out there, this might be a good investment. You want to get away from a little bit of screen time. Ta-da! But also, this is a game that could take up quite a lot of your time. I have one that actually looks like it's from back then, and then I have a nice, fun, colorful one with Virginia Beach History Museums on it. And all you have to do is make your hand into a C, and then you hold the top of it, and it's just about turning it whichever way to make the blocks move. And as we can see, all the games from back then do not have electricity, they don't have batteries, and they're not made of plastic. They're made of things that you could easily find. Like these braces here are made out of ribbon in wood. My ball and cup uses a little bit of rope in wood. My Jacob's ladder, again, it's just wood, maybe a little bit of fabric here to try to make it together. And if we remember all the way from the beginning, my corn husk doll is just simply made out of corn husk and then a little bit of yarn here. So these were all things that they could make without having to use electrical resources like electricity or using big manufacturing areas to make plastic. So although they are different from today, I think they're quite fun. But let's go ahead and look at how some kids used to live when we go upstairs into the house. So, hope to see you soon. Bye!
Thank you, Miss Miriam, for that wonderful talk that you've done about the differences between now and then on how children play. I'm going to show you a few things that she showed you and that you will have in your virtual to-go pack for all the supplies, and then a few things that weren't in the video and how you can play with those as well. All of these things are fairly easy to buy and to get, so even if you don't have a virtual to-go pack, it's pretty easy. You'll be able to get those items. Our first item that we're going to do is the game of graces, and Miss Miriam, you saw that in the video. And so the easiest way that I found was to actually buy an embroidery hoop. And so this is the inside of the embroidery hoop, and this is the outside. And so you'll get one of these in your kit so you can play together. And so as a family. So I went ahead and put some ribbon on one of the embroidery hoops, and so that can be played with. And then the other one, the other part, you'll get two sections of the game in the kit. And so all four of you can play. And the other one I haven't done yet, so I'll show you how to do it. It's going to be a little trickier because of the embroidery hoop. There is this metal piece of how it goes together. So I'm going to just wrap the ribbon around that so as to not get anybody hurt. So what I did on the other one is I just wrapped it around. Like I said, this one's just going to be a little bit more difficult because it has this metal piece we want to cover up, but it's not too difficult. So I'm just going to wrap it around it and wrap it around one more time. And then now I'm just going to easily make a little knot in there and tie it tightly. And then I'm just going to flip it over and make another knot on the other side. So there you go. You have your two hoops for your games of graces. And like Miss Miriam said, you'll just put one hoop for one team and you'll just kind of like fling it outwards. That went really well. That went better than my other times when I tried. All right, one of the other things that she showed in the video was a ball and cup. And so this is the version that's been completed. So we have a stick and a ball, and you know, we try to get it inside. So let me show you how that you'll be able to make this. So I've given you a cup, a ball, some yarn, and a dowel rod. And so the first step is to put your yarn through. All right, so then now you're just going to make a knot. Just gonna tie it around. I like to do it twice. Just make sure it's nice and secure. All right, and on the other side, you're gonna take your cup, and the cup has 3 holes in it already. There's 2 on either side of the cup, and then there's 1 on the bottom. So you're just going to, sometimes you have to, you know, make it tighter again, but you're just going to poke your string through the hole. And then you're gonna reach inside and grab that. So now it looks like this. And then now you're going to make a few knots in this one to make sure it doesn't slip out. So the hole I tried to make not very big, but big enough that you could get the yarn through. So we just have to make sure there are enough knots where it's not going to slip through. I'm gonna take one more for good measure. All right, there we go. And so now it won't come through. The last step is you're gonna take your dowel rod, your mini dowel rod. They are different sizes compared to the Game of Graces. The Game of Graces is the big one, so you can see. So you have your mini dowel rod there. And so you're just gonna poke it through. If you want to take some tape, and you can tape the cup to the stick, you can. It's pretty secure to do this. And then I'm not very skilled at this, but you're just gonna try to get the ball into the cup. There we go, awesome. So that's ball and cup game. All right, 2 more things that you didn't see in the video, but I think are pretty cool. One is called a Whirligig, and it's very simple. It is, and something that you would find a lot during colonial times. It is just a big button here. I have a big button. This one's blue and circular, round circle. And then I also have a yellow square button here. They're nice and big. You might find these made out of bone or some rock. Basically, you could also do it with cardboard, but back in colonial times, a lot of times it was bone. And so basically it's just a piece of yarn and then through 2 sides of the button. So to make this Whirligig, we're going to just put our yarn through 1 side of the button, and then directly across we're going to put that same piece back through, and then you're going to do it about halfway, or pull it all the way through. So it's about a 3-foot piece of yarn, 2 to 3 foot piece of yarn, and you're just going to make a knot together. Then you're going to come back to this side and pull it through. So you'll have until it looks like that. Then the Whirligig part, this is the best part, this is the fun part, is you're just going to keep twirling it and twirling it and twirling it around until it's nice and taut. And it might take a couple tries, but we'll see. All right, so then now it's gonna keep, oh, it didn't do it. Let's try it again. I must have not done enough times. So I'm trying to get it so I can keep playing with it back and forth. But it has to be a lot of loops in it. There it goes. So I'm pulling it back and forth with my hands. So I'm pulling them in and I'm pulling them out, and it makes a very cool sound too. So it's spinning by itself. I'm just providing the momentum, and then it twirls back on itself. I don't know if you can see that. So this is called a whirligig. And you all have different shapes in there, so you can kind of see what that's going to look like. So that was a whirligig, which is a lot of fun. Now our last game is jacks. So you should be familiar with jacks, hopefully. This is just a modern day bouncy ball, rubber ball. It is nice and bouncy. And but back in colonial times, a lot of the times they actually used to use just a regular stone. And instead of bouncing the ball before you play your jack game, they would just throw it up in the air. And before it landed on the ground, that is when you would have to pick up your jacks. So some of the items that I have, I gave you the bouncy ball, but you can go find other items that you can use. So you can find other smaller stones here. Stones that are a little bit smaller than your jack rock. I also have mini marshmallows here. That might be fun. You could always use marbles or these glass stones. You can use those. I also have pom-poms, colorful pom-poms here, so that's pretty fun. And so, or just Legos, anything else that's fairly small, similar in size, and weight is what you're looking for. And they're just 6 items, so you don't have to go looking far, but that way you have a little scavenger hunt that you can find those items to. Now with jacks, there's different rules to play, and there's going to be a link so you can see how to play those jack games. But basically, the main rule is that you want to pick up as many jacks before the ball hits or the stone. So if you want to try it like they did back in colonial times, try to find a bigger stone, or you could always use the ball that's provided. So those are the different things. We have jacks, we have whirligigs, we have ball and cup, and we have the game of graces. So those are different things that I hope that you enjoy these new games, but they're new to you, but these colonial games that boys and girls have been enjoying for many hundreds of years. And we would like to thank Virginia Beach again, History Museums, for letting us use their video. Thank you, bye.